Welcome back to Live with RxMuscle's Iron Road to the Olympia, brought to you by SciTech Nutrition. Visit scitechnutrition.com. I'm Dave Palumbo, and tonight's guest is all the way from the island continent of Australia. Yes, we dug him up. He had a huge surge at the end of 2015, winning 2 pro shows, and he's totally impressed us here in 2016. The man I'm talking about, Josh Lenartowicz.
Hi, Dave. Thanks for having me.
You came from obscurity. You turned pro in 2013. No one really knew much about you, heard much about you. And last year, in 2015, at the Ferrigno Legacy Classic and the San Marino Pro, you dazzled the bodybuilding world. You won your first 2 pro shows, which is what qualified you for this year's Olympia, of course. And then you didn't rest on those laurels. You came in 2016, and you really impressed everyone at the Arnold Classic Australia, the Arnold Classic USA. And, you're a name we're talking about now. That must feel great.
Yeah, it's huge. Last year was just a incredible finish to the year, and that qualified me for the Olympia. I never thought that would be possible this close in my quest, and I had a lot of people in Australia, because of the new system, having to win a pro show. People in Australia in the industry were saying that we're not going to see an Australian to the Olympia for quite a long time. And then coming out and winning the Italy, the San Marino, and then the Lou Ferrigno, it just blew me away. I was very emotional on stage in the Italy show, because it was a whole life's journey to be at the Mr. Olympia. And then a lot of people said sit the shows out at the start of the year, but I was more inclined to learn my body and learn different loads and different methods to what could work at the Olympia, and that was sort of a trial for me. And it worked out quite well, doing the Poland show and placing second behind Cedric, and then doing the Ohio. And that was a dream, always wanting to do the Arnold Ohio. It's the second biggest show of the year. And then going forwards into the Australian show, trying a different load and not really working out as well. And being sick, having bronchitis from the flights and stuff was a bit of a headache and a bit of a struggle. But then, yeah, it was a good little lead up for the Olympia. But just to correct you, I turned pro in 2014, and I would have waited a whole year. But in Australia, we don't have many pro shows, and Tony was, straight away after winning the qualifier, come and join us on stage at the, with the pro show and compete against the best in the world. And I couldn't turn down that offer. So that was my first show.
Didn't you win the Australasia show in 2013?
I won my the FedEx, the super heavyweights, and then I won the Australasian title. And then the following year, 2014, I was eligible to win my pro card, which I did. And then I did the Aussie. It was just the last FedEx, and I placed highest Australian in that.
I thought they gave a pro card from that win you got at the Australasia. No?
Yeah, they didn't give a pro card at the Australasia. They made it like an entry into winning. You
guys have a weird system over there, because you have a special pro qualifier show. Now that I remember, because I remember when I would go to the Arnold Australia, you would have like a special division. It wasn't even part of the amateur show. It was just to get your pro card, right? And then if you won that, they would give you a pro card.
Yeah, that's how we do it. And in order to do that, you have to win a national title or an international title.
They would do that for the Olympia. That's my idea. Have a separate playoff, so to speak, for the guys who will all the Olympia qualifiers. You bring them to another show and put them on stage, and the top 10 at that show go to the Olympia. This way, you don't have a million people there. That's my idea. It's enacted or not is another story.
Yeah.
Josh, when you showed up at that San Marino show, obviously no one was expecting anything from you. Were you shocked that you won, or did you know, hey, I look good here, I have a good shot at winning this thing?
In the lead up, my issue's always been the food, and I'm just like anyone. I love food. If you had a choice in order to progress on, chicken and tuna, or you could progress still bodybuilding on chocolate, I'm sure everyone would pick chocolate, right? So, my battle's always been the food, but hooking up with Tony Doherty and him getting that in my head that it's about suffering. And Chad Nichols, I work with him. He said always said it was about suffering in the past. And I just did this prep all myself, the Italy show. Things that have worked in the past, I put that into play, and it worked out. And I woke up that morning, and my wife come with me, and I was like, wow, I'm on. Like, things worked, like the prep worked, and I was hoping that I'd be in for a shot to win, but you don't know on the day because it's not up to me. It's up to the judges. But yeah, it blew me away winning the show. In first having a first call out and then being moved into the middle, I was thinking, wow, things are pretty serious here. And yeah, when they called my name in victory, I was incredibly blessed and thankful.
Telling me that you are a diet cheater, or you were a cheater on your diet in the past?
I was, yeah, absolutely, yeah. I was, whether that's sabotaging myself because of unbelief or having something to blame if I didn't succeed. It was not because I wasn't good enough, quote unquote, ready genetically or progressive wise with my body. It was because there's something I did with my diet. It wasn't something, I wasn't beaten by someone else. I was beaten by myself. So it was just a way of sabotaging myself. But yeah, that's all good now.
Yeah, now that you've won a couple shows, like, is the cheating thing out the door? Like, is that like not an option anymore? Or do you still have those urges, and every once in a while, you dig in a little bit?
I'll give myself, I call it hitting my shit threshold, when, everything's not like a cheat day or a refeed day, just when everything in life becomes a struggle, physically, mentally, emotionally. That's when I know that I need to rest from the gym. And having a day, you're not going to get fat in a day if you've progressed and your momentum's going 4 weeks straight, strict on a diet. Having half a day off isn't going to set you back. It's going to bounce off your body. That's my belief. And, I might be a bit different to your belief, though, Dave. I don't know how you feel about it, but my belief's more about it's training and cardio-based more than nutrition. Everyone says you can't out-train a bad diet, but I'm more to the belief that training's more important if you're pushing yourself to the limit and you're building muscle and you're progressing in the gym. Diet's incredibly important, don't get me wrong, but I believe training's more important than the diet.
Yeah, I think it all fits together. I think everyone has every place. I think a lot of people try to say one is more important than the other. Diet is more important. The supplements. Some people think drugs are more important. I think it's a combination of everything and how you put it together that ultimately leads to the person who's going to win on stage versus the person who's going to come in second, third, fourth. So I think you need to have all the pieces in place. And I think that you finally kind of put it all together for the first time in your career. And it always feels good and validates what you're doing when you can put it together and actually get the win. Some people put it together and don't get the win,
Yeah, well that's what I mean. If you're committing 100% and you put everything into it and then you lose, I mean, there's that mindset. One way can be, I tried everything and gave it my best and it wasn't good enough, and next time it'll be better. Or it'll be, man, if my best isn't good enough, maybe this isn't for me. That can hurt people as well.
To be up on the Olympia stage in less than 5 weeks, and your best may not be good enough to win, but I'm sure you would love to place top 6 at your first Olympia, huh?
Absolutely. Hey, is that true? Is it top 5 qualify for the following year, or is it just the winner?
3 that re-qualify, but I could be wrong.
The following year, and then you have to win a pro show to get there. So what are your thoughts? Has there ever been, or is it possible that someone could come in their Olympia debut and win? Is that ever a possibility, or is that just, is there people in Australia think, oh, you have to like earn your dues and
Lee Haney did it a long time ago.
What's that? Sorry,
I said Lee Haney did it a long time ago.
Did he win on his first show? I thought he'd come in and he was a bit down.
Yeah, you're right.
In weight,
he
like
didn't
10
win.
pounds down.
He didn't win. Look, you know what the truth is? The truth is, if you're that good, I think you can. But I don't think I think it's hard to go from the amateur level to the pro level and be so superior. I mean, Levrone was second, at his first Olympia. I think Flex Wheeler was second at their first Olympia, and they were going up against great guys. So imagine if the great guy wasn't there, they would have won. So I think it's a matter of timing, also timing it correctly. Let me ask you this question. Really, in reality, in the continent of Australia, we've probably had 2 really great bodybuilders in modern times, at least, that we can remember, Sonny Schmidt and Lee Priest. And that was a long time ago. You're the first guy to really come out of Australia and be this dominant. Why do you think it is that we don't have more great bodybuilders in Australia? Because I know bodybuilding is huge there.
It is. We've got a great culture. There hasn't been anyone to the Olympia in 13 years, so that in itself is a huge honour. And maybe it could be a couple of reasons. I mean, one reason could possibly be that there's just a doubt in people's minds, and we have that here. Like, people hear the American bodybuilders or the European bodybuilders, people were like, whoa, these guys are almost, close to holy stature. They're that good. That to try and get to that level is unheard of, or you can't do that. And another reason might just be as well, people don't want to detach from the norm. Like, that's a thing in Australia. One big thing is culturally, people just want to fit in and blend in. That's a part of it too, or they don't want to be judged or put down. They want to have that almost, it's called tall poppy syndrome. You get cut down if you're doing something a bit better than other people. That could be part of it as well. But we have a great culture here. That's definitely for sure. Like the bodybuilding shows. I remember Chris Cormier, when he was coming down for his first few pro bodybuilding shows, he was saying that we get treated really well. Like, Tony was putting on a great show for them. And I was only young then. I was living 3 hours away from Melbourne, and I'd drive down and watch all the pro shows. And at the end of it, I'd shake Tony's hand and say congratulations. Instead of the person that won, I'd always be that kind of guy. I'd say thanks for putting on a good show. And now I'm, going to be up there with the best of them. It's pretty awesome.
How did you find that you were able to break out of that mold that you just talked about, that Australia mindset, to say, hey, I'm good enough to be up there with the best in the world?
Yeah, well, I don't know. It took me a while. I never thought it was... Do you ever remember in 1998, we had the Mr. Olympia that Ronnie Coleman won. It was on ESPN, and it was aired, and I was living in the country, and we had it on pay TV, and I remember watching it, and that was really my first huge experience watching competitive bodybuilding. And I thought I was just blown away by the physiques and how amazing it was that the human body could get like that. And that's what really inspired me and gave me hope in life, just doing something to keep me challenged and keep me progressing in life. And then I didn't think I'd ever be able to do that. And I was almost mentored in to compete in a different federation. It was called the International Natural Bodybuilding Association. You have it in the States, but it's not really as big there as it is in Australia. And I did that competition as far as I could go. I was a junior champion, and I was second in the world when I was 23. And there just wasn't really anywhere for that to eventuate. There was no sponsors or publicity out of that federation. I was pretty deterred. And then I stopped for a while, and then I started my quest for an IFBB show when I was 29, and that was my first win at 30 years old in 2013. And that was when I started to believe it. And my wife and I have this mindset where doors open or doors close. And it was at this breaking point in my life, and I thought I should either give it 100% or stop putting so much time, effort, money, attention to it. And I competed in that show and won, and then did the Australasian title and won. And for that, doors opened, and there was an opportunity to do the pro qualifier. And then that's what happened again. I won that show and doors opened. And then I also, we're spiritual people, and we prayed about it, and I said, God, if you want this to be something that I'm following, I need to make money out of it as well, or there needs to be some sort of sign. And in that first pro show, they gave the award for top Australian. It was only $1,000, but that was still, placing 8th in my first pro show. No one gets $1,000 placing 8th in like a show, and that was just like, whoa, maybe I'm meant to be doing this with my life. And then I worked with Chad Nichols, and I took a whole year off and just progressed and went up to like 142 kilos, which was like 310, I think 315 pounds, something like that. So I was just putting on more size than ever. I was really strong. And then I dieted down for the Arnolds and got 9th, but it was against the harder lineup in 2015. And I was like, whoa, what's happening here? That wasn't a sign that I was meant to get from God and from, whatever it was that I was looking towards. And then, I just thought I was a bit deterred from it, and then gave it a real good run at the end of 2015, and that's when it worked out. That's what separated me from the pack. I think I didn't stop believing in what I could do or what my potential was. I just really, really gave it a shot. And maybe that's someone who's listening to this. Everyone's telling them that they've got great potential, but they themselves don't believe it. And that was almost my mindset as well. My whole life, people have said, I'm built for this game. I've got great potential with it. But in my mind, I didn't really believe it. And now I'm really starting to believe it.
Chris Aceto saw you at that Arnold that you in Australia, that first one you did, and I remember him telling me that this guy has got great potential. I don't know why he plays so low, but I'm telling you, he's gonna be really good. And so maybe you got a little overlooked at that show, but certainly the I guess the spark was there.
Yeah. I spoke to Chris the first time in Ohio. He sounds like a great guy by meeting him, and he said that to me as well. It almost pushed me the other way, though, because I thought, man, maybe this isn't for me, because, I want to provide for my wife and have family and all that sort of stuff. And everyone that does bodybuilding knows it's an expensive venture. So, that was a bit deterring. But, what do they say? Success is standing up one more time than you get knocked down, and that's true for this sport.
What was the response from the Australian fans, the Australian bodybuilders? Do you feel that they're supportive of your efforts, and are they encouraging, or is there a jealousy that you've encountered?
I thought I might have that, but especially getting to the Olympia, I feel like all of Australia's behind me or beside me, with me in this, this prep and coming towards the Olympia, and everyone's really excited about it that I speak with, and I get messages all the time, and it's so cool, man. Like having a whole country, being the best in your country at something is everyone's dream, I think, and having everyone supporting me and encouraging me and wanting me to do well, it's great. And everyone, the environment here, a lot more people are competing now or getting, sparking people's interest in training because of it. It's a really cool feeling.
I just did a guest posing recently, and at the guest posing, I think it was put on social media, you looked ridiculous. I mean, you look like you're almost 300 pounds. I don't know if you were. Have you put on a lot more muscle since we last saw you on stage?
Yeah. I've been really committed, been consistent, training hard, and I was hoping to be around between 270 and 280 on stage.
That's crazy. That's good to be one of the biggest guys up there. Can you believe that?
But I'm more important, more focused on condition though at this phase. And these next 4.5 weeks are going to be really hard. Just be suffering and hungry and starving and push through it.
Does Tony Doherty have you in lockdown? Has he got you in a safe house or anything like that, so you won't cheat?
Doesn't matter about your size. Doesn't matter about being big, and that was always my mindset. Have to be big and dominating, so to speak, but it's a conditioning game. And Chad Nichols always said a conditioning's king. Always said that to me as well.
It's 4 weeks, in a safe house, so you won't cheat?
Well, what do you mean by that? I mean, you can't come into my house and clean up my.
You have a history of cheating, so you're looking so good that I figured Tony would want to make sure that nothing goes wrong.
Yeah. That's right. Well, it's great to be accountable to someone, and he's, especially the last 4 weeks. He gets back from the Arnold Hong Kong next week.
Yeah.
So he'll be seeing me every day in the gym, and that's the thing, man. I'm really serious about this. My wife and I, we moved. We found the closest place to the gym. Like I can walk to the gym in 10 minutes away.
Wow,
I'm taking it really serious. I'm putting everything. My wife and I are just putting absolutely everything into it, trying our best.
That's great. Well, Josh, I want to just wish you the best of luck at the Olympia. You've turned a lot of heads and got a lot of people talking about you. It'd be great to interview you in person when we see you. But, hey, at 270, 280 pounds, you're going to be a force to be reckoned with up on that Olympia stage. And I think a lot of people have taken notice of you. So best of luck over the next 4 weeks. No cheating.
Thanks, mate. You know what? I just want to thank everyone who's ever supported me. And if anyone wants to follow my journey, I'm always on the Doherty's page, but we've got Muscle Mills Direct on a YouTube channel. We're doing like a road to the Olympia, so that's always on. Just a bit of an insight into my life. It's not boring just lifting weights up and down. It's the struggles and the battles and stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to say thanks, and thanks for having me and supporting me this time as well. And the Muscle in the Morning things, I remember when you first did them, I was getting links sent to my phone, and in the morning when I woke up, blew my mind. So thanks for that.
and we'll see you at the Olympia. And that
I'm doing my best, maximising my potential to do everything I can to be my best on stage. So hopefully it plays out well.
Yeah, it's amazing that we could actually get a great interview with you all the way from Australia. Think about the technology we got nowadays. This is just awesome. So, but we'll see.
And that's another thing. I mean, people used to have to move to America a lot of times back now, and to make a career out of it. I mean, I don't have a sponsorship with a supplement company or anything like that. I mean, maybe that hurts me being here, but Dorian did it living in England, and I can do it living here, I believe, because we've got all the technology now, especially to make a big impact and still communicate, and it's great now.
Stay there, Josh. You're the biggest thing in Australia, and Australians love bodybuilders, so I would stay there if I were you. That's my advice to you.
Appreciate that, mate. Thanks.
All right, and that'll take us to the end of another episode of Live with RxMuscle's Iron Road to the Olympia, brought to you by SciTech Nutrition. Visit scitechnutrition.com. I'm Dave Palumbo, and we'll see you later.